Well, ladies and gentlemen, he is back finally after a long time. I had to beg him to come here. I had to plead him to come here. And finally, he decided to give that approval. And he's here to talk about Mula Nakshatra. So as you know, you're going to be on a ride to understand things that you have never understood them before in this way. So just, you know who he is. Dr. Arjun Pai is here. Hello, sir. Welcome back.
Hey, hi, Kapiel.
It's like you're on a 14-year banvas, and now you're finally back.
Yeah, I know. I've been away for a while now, and we were discussing this for the past hour or so. You know what led me to go back into my shell. See, a lot of times what happens, Kapiel, is you want to come out and you want to speak about a lot of things, but sometimes your aura doesn't allow you to come out, you know. So why? Because whenever you talk about social media, you talk about television, you talk about, you know, YouTube or all of these, it is all about externalization. It wants you to bring out your personality, right? But then what happens in the whole gamut of things is you lose focus about your research, your understanding, and all of that. So you want to go and do a little bit of internalization, and that is what has been happening over the last 3 months. Is gone back, you know, and started learning some of the basic concepts of Jyotish and, you know, Vedantic principles and philosophies, mythology, and all of that. So I think, so I'm very pleased to be back on your channel.
No, absolutely. So you're just playing that dance of Rahu and Ketu. You're
absolutely,
Rahu,
and
now you're Ketu, now you're Rahu again.
I love that video. I think there couldn't have been any better video than, you know, showing the dance of Rahu and Ketu. And that is what you do. That is your entire life. You know, it's your Samudra Manthan. That is where the churning of your life is going to happen, is the axis of Rahu and Ketu. So sometimes you're churned towards the Devas, because the Devas were at the tail, where the Ketu, you know, the tail of the serpent, which was the rope. Okay. Sometimes you get closer to Ketu, right? Which is where the gods are, and sometimes you get drawn towards the asuras or the demons, which is towards the head. So the head of the demons is all about merrymaking, you know, showing your aura out, showing that, you know, what you want to show to the people, to the world. But Ketu is all about going and learning for yourself, you know, learning to enrich yourself, so that someday you can come forward and be the Rahu and teach people what you have learned when you become a Ketu.
Well, then, welcome to the demonic domain. Back again to the demon's den.
Yeah.
So, what do you have for us today?
Okay. So shall I share my screen and let's get started? So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Kapiel, today we're going to talk about Mula Nakshatra, which is your 19th nakshatra. If you take Ashwini to be the first nakshatra and you take that series, Mula becomes the 19th nakshatra. Okay, and it is the first nakshatra where you start your journey towards spiritualization, or what is called as the set of the Sattvic nakshatras, the last leg of Sattvic nakshatras that you're going to go through in this life, right? So Mula is the beginning point of this journey towards Sattvic. Sattvic means, you know, trying to come to terms with God realization, or self-realization and God realization, right? This is what is Mula Nakshatra all about. Now, having said that, before I could take a deep dive into Mula Nakshatra, like I always do with all the Nakshatra series, there are certain disclaimers that I want to share with some of your viewers, because there are many young ones, there are many experienced ones, but what I wanted to say is, the first concept that I want to say is, nakshatras, when you study, you never study them in isolation. This is the first principle and disclaimer I want to give. Is why? Because today, when I'm doing the lessons and the class, I might be taking one planet in one nakshatra, and I'm trying to show some patterns, okay, some themes. But remember, astrology is not about one nakshatra and one planet. It is a holistic science. You have to look at the chart in totality. Okay, so although we would be showing you examples with strong, themes which are emerging from them, okay, never take astrology as one planet, one nakshatra astrology.
Okay, that's what you meant. I thought you meant like don't talk about nakshatras by yourself alone. That's
no.
You meant like you have to look at a chart as a whole. Okay.
Whole.
That's
not in pieces. Okay, not in parts.
Yes. Absolutely.
So yeah, this is a disclaimer. What I want to say is, because what happens is you say, oh, I have my Mars in this nakshatra, in Mula Nakshatra, and this is what the result is. I saw some examples, and is this something that is going to happen in my life? No, it is not, because everything adds up to the flavor, and that could be, the results could be completely different for you if it is not about just Mars and Mula Nakshatra, which is going to give you the results, isn't it? It is the other planets also have a play, right? So that is the first thing. The second concept, which has been largely misconstrued by the astrological community, is thinking that nakshatras are linked with planets. Okay, we talk about lordship of planets, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
This is a completely different system, and I myself have done this mistake many a times, and I keep doing it because that is how I've learned. Instead of Mula Nakshatra, we say it is Ketu. The ruler of Mula Nakshatra is Ketu, right? First, understand that nakshatras were never linked to any planets. Right? This concept, I know of only two people. When I say I know of, because I have only read from their books or learned from their videos or whatever, only two people I know who understand this truth, that nakshatras are never linked with any planets. Is one is Vic Dikara, he's written it openly, right? Another person is James Kelleher. That doesn't mean to say that there are other people who do not follow the same principles. Okay, I do not know of people. There might be people who understand that nakshatras are not linked to any planets. Now, why I say that is, whenever you link it with Ketu, that means you have to, by default, you have to speak about Vimshotri Dasha.
Yeah.
Parashurama has given the sequence of the planets as per the nakshatras, okay, which is related to Vimshotri Dasha only. That is Ketu, Aries, Ashwini is Ketu, Bharani is Venus. All this is related to your Vimshotri Dasha. Now, if I change the Dasha, because he has given so many other Dashas, which are conditional Dashas.
Yeah.
So if I take Ashtotri Dasha, Ashwini, ruler is not Ketu. It could be Venus. It could be Mars. It is different. So that is why what I want to tell you about when you learn about nakshatras, the most important concepts of nakshatras are the symbology, the nakshatra deity or the devata, and the nature of the nakshatra, whether it is Tikshna nakshatra, whether it's Mridu nakshatra, which is soft, whether it is Shipra nakshatra. These are the flavors which the nakshatra gives. And the devata brings a lot of themes for the nakshatra. Okay? And the symbology is what you have to interpret. Either it is literal, it is metaphorical, allegorical, all of this. So some association you have to see with this. This is how you study nakshatras. Okay? I'm not in no way saying that if you use your planets, it is wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm only saying use them judiciously with Vimshotri Dasha.
Vimshotri, yeah, of course.
Right? So I might be talking about Ketu even in this lesson when I'm talking about Moola, but I am specifically talking about Vimshotri Dasha.
Okay.
And the third thing which I want to say is there is always a confusion between a lot of students saying that which is the right Ayanamsha to use. Is it sidereal? Is it tropical? Right? Now, all systems are good enough if you understand the system and you apply it as per the rules that you have come up with or some rishi has come up with. For example, Ernest William, he uses tropical dasha and he uses Moola as the center of the galaxy, and he uses that as an Anamsha, and he's given brilliant predictions. Brilliant. There's a complete system there. So that is also right, because he understands and he has given that system. I'm not saying that is that is wrong, but then there is the sidereal system, right, where I take Chitra Paksha as being, as per my interpretation, that is right. Okay, there could be other schools of thoughts, but I'm saying whatever system you follow, understand the system and apply it, it will work for you.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you think about B.V. Raman, he had his own Ayanamsha, which is B.V. Raman Ayanamsha, and he has given so many brilliant predictions.
Yeah.
One of the
it's like that saying, all paths leads to one God. All astrological systems should lead to one prediction. So that's
one prediction, right?
Yeah.
So do not get into this debate of saying which is a better Ayanamsha, what is truth. This is the Ketu type of people, ask you, or you tell me which is the best religion to follow, or what is the best thing, what is truth?
Yeah.
Everything is truth if you understand how to use and how to interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. And the fourth thing, what I want to say before I go into the lesson is, these concepts that I'm going to teach about are my interpretations. Obviously, there could be variation in thought process, or people saying, okay, this is how I interpret things. You're perfectly all right to have that, because this is not written anywhere, and most of them are my interpretations. You have your free will to either accept it or say, oh, this doesn't work for me. That's perfectly all right, but it's only an interpretation. So I'm just making these things because people shouldn't say, oh, this is what Arjun said in this video. Okay, these are my interpretations. Okay, so you have your own opinion, and I respect your opinion. Okay, so let's get to two very important concepts. Let's get started with two important concepts. Very, very important, because this is the fundamental of Jyotish, and this will lead you into knowing Mula Nakshatra better. Let us see, Kapil, how are we getting on with time? If you think we'll have to divide this video into two sessions, I'm perfectly all right.
No, I'm sure we can cover it in one session.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's get started. The first concept I want to tell you about is Muladhara Chakra, which is called as the root chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the most important concept of Jyotish, because this is the root of your latent spiritual and karmic energy. In Vedic systems, we call it your prarabdha, which is your destiny. So I call it, this is the point, or this is the chakra where the unlocking of your destiny can happen. Either the blessings or the curses are all seated here. Right? So it can bring both those flavors. It is your prarabdha, that is your seat. Okay. Now this is Muladhara chakra, sits somewhere, around your hip region. Okay. I will show you how this is linked. But this image that you're seeing here is the bone where the Muladhara chakra resides in your body. Okay, this is the bone which sits somewhere near your hip in the middle region.
Okay.
Right? So does this image give you any interpretation? Does it look like something?
Yes, it does, because we already talked about it. So yes, I know. Yeah.
So if you look at this very closely, you would see that there is some resemblance to Lord Ganesh.
Yes.
Okay, it's the face of the Lord Ganesh, you can see.
Yeah.
And this is where a lot of awakening of your Kundalini, because the serpent is lying is sleeping and it has to be awakened. That is your Kundalini energy, where it lies at the spine, bottom of the spine, and that is what is called Muladhara. Mula means root.
Root.
Okay, this is where your root. This is the root of all your destiny. This is the root of your latent energies that you have accumulated over a period of time. Why? Because every action you do, or every action that you have done, as per Indian philosophy, they are a seed you are planting in the Muladhara chakra, which is your root chakra. Right? So over a number of lifetimes that you've taken, now these roots have sprouted and they have grown and they have become a dense, impenetrable jungle. Okay? But out of those, only a few ones are ripe now for you to enjoy or to go through this journey. So this is your root. So if you look at your physiology of the body, if you take the head of your body and going down to your toe, you apply each of those houses, you would find that your Muladhara chakra is your sixth house. Okay, sixth house is the root of your destiny. Okay, you call it a malefic house, you call it Dusthana, but also remember, sixth house is also called as a growth house. It's called as a Upachaya house. Both it has got both Dusthana as well as growth. Okay, so sixth house is your Prarabdha, and as Professor A.V. Sundaram puts it, he says, wherever your sixth lord from ascendant goes and sits in your chart, there is nothing you can do about that house, because that is your prarabdha, and that can show you a broad canvas of how is your life going to, or what is the journey of your life. Oh, obviously there are multiple layers you'll have to unpeel to understand that, but that is what largely your destiny would be. Okay, so the house becomes very important wherever the sixth lord goes and sits, either in your Rashi chart or in your divisional charts, wherever. You can read that. Now, interpretation of Lord Ganesh, okay, who we also represent or we associate with Ketu. Okay, Lord Ganesh, we say, is associated with the planet Ketu.
Mm-hmm.
And Ketu is a planet which holds all your karmic patterns, which we call as vasanas. Vasanas are karmic patterns.
Yeah.
Okay? It is something that you introspect and you learn. So you have to interpret the symbology of Ganesh, because Ganesh has to be appeased as per Indian philosophy before you do anything in life. Okay, he's the god. The first god that you appease is Ganesh, because he say he's Vigna Harta, he removes obstacles. Basically, what are those obstacles? These are your karmic patterns which come up, and you're taking his blessings so that you are able. It's not that you can change your karmic patterns, it's only that you're trying to overcome those karmic patterns in your life with more confidence.
Yeah.
So look at each of those parts of the body, okay, and you can see that the Muladhara chakra is represented by 4 petals, and the Bija mantra. Bija mantra is the root mantra. It's called Lam. Okay, and those 4 petals represents nothing but Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So all your Purushartha, which is your Chatur Varna, or your 4 important concepts of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, are residual forces, are they resident in the Muladhara chakra. Okay, now look at this concept of Ganesh. If you understand Ganesh, you will understand, how this is one of the biggest remedies that I'm trying to tell you for your prarabdha. Look at the axe on the left hand side, or it is called the elephant's gourd. Okay, what is the elephant's gourd? It is like a sharp object with a hook on one side, and there is an axe on the other side. The elephant gourd is called as the symbol associated, one of the symbols associated with Mula Nakshatra. So it signifies that what is the elephant's gourd? It is used by the Mahut. Mahut is the person who rides the elephant, who guides the elephant. Okay, it's a sharp object which is pierced into the ear of the elephant when the elephant is not listening, and you direct or prod the elephant in a direction that you want the elephant to move in. Now, why elephant? Elephant is a huge animal, right? It's one of the largest land animals. And likewise, your prarabdha is like an elephant. It's a huge animal that you have, it's a beast you have to control. And you use the god of the elephant god to control you. So Ganesh is somehow, you say, please Ganesh, please guide me in the right path. It is painful. It is painful, but it is about taking you in the right direction. Okay. So if I have to say, there is a very beautiful way Dr. Dennis Harris has said in his book on nakshatras, about Mula Nakshatra. He says, somehow, maybe I'll come to that whenever we go to the fag end of the lesson. I'll talk about what he says. But this is the meaning, is to direct you in the right direction. Then there is Abhaya Mudra. Abhaya Mudra means wish granting. Whatever you want to wish, you can wish for. And he grants you those wishes. Right? The lotus and the noose. The lotus blooms in muddy waters. Okay?
Yeah.
But its beauty is pristine. You look at the lotus in muddy waters, so the conditions in which a lotus blooms might be very difficult conditions. And so would you blossom with all your prarabdha. And that is what you are trying to understand from this image or from symbol. And the noose is somehow like which is getting you tied. Okay? So what is tying you up? It is your responsibilities in life. It is your want for materialism in life. That is tying you up. Right? Understand that Indian philosophy of karma says you have taken birth to enjoy everything that you are destined to enjoy, but never get attached to it. Okay? The noose is somehow trying to say, don't get attached. And that is why you see one of the symbologies of Mula Nakshatra is a group of roots which are tied together. So those are all your desires. So somehow he has to unlock you from those tied desires and lead you into a spiritual path of God realization or self-realization. And if you see the modak, which is very dear to Lord Ganesh, what are those? It is the interpretation is those are the fruits of your karma. Your fruits of your karmas have to be very sweet. They have to be relished. So you cannot run away from the realities of life.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to engross yourself into materialistic enjoyment, all of that. But when you understand, you have to have the balance in life. It's balancing your spiritual aspects and your material aspects. But if you are going by your natural tendencies or natural traits in life, which is your Mula Nakshatra traits or the impulses which come, then you become aggressive, you become egoistic, you become, a vagabond. You want to enjoy only the pleasures of life, and it gives you a lot of pain and suffering because you are not balancing your life. So that is what the symbology of Lord Ganesh is all about here. He is to balance your dharma, artha, your kama, and moksha. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I have gone a little bit further and I have associated them with each of the fixed. Now, this is what I learned from a Siddha, who is a spiritual master. He said, look at it. Don't look at Ganesh just from that. He embodies the entire system of Jyotish. And that is why whenever we start learning Jyotish, it is Lord Ganesh that you appease because he is the god of Jyotish. Okay? You can see the entire zodiac. You can see all the nakshatras. You can see all the planets in this symbology. I will go into that much later detail, but let us talk about these fixed houses or the fixed rashis or the fixed zodiac signs. Which are those fixed zodiac signs? The Scorpio, it's Leo, it's Aquarius, and it's Taurus. Now look at those, the Purusharthas of each of these. Scorpio is moksha, Leo is dharma, Aquarius is kama, and Taurus is artha. So you understand that these four elements are what he is balancing in your life, and so that you can move towards the sattvic journey of your life. Ganesha is balancing these four houses. So when you pray to Lord Ganesh, you are appeasing all the planets. You are, somehow trying to redeem all the sins that you are somehow. Okay, that is the association.
So,
right?
and in these signs, do you mean originally the 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th house, or simply wherever these signs are placed in your horoscope?
This is I'm talking about the fixed houses from the natural zodiac.
From the natural zodiacs, the fixed houses, so 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th. Okay.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so this is what is the symbology. When you look at the hands there, so then what I did was I went a little more deeper. See, this is very important. I know people who have understood these concepts can maybe skip this session. But if you do not understand this concept, you won't understand what is Moola. You won't understand about Prarabdha. You won't understand how, Ketu is playing a role in Mula Nakshatra. It is not, as I said, Ketu is not related to, if you're talking only about Vimshotri Dasha, then it is related. Otherwise, you cannot take Ketu as a ruler of Moola. But here I'm showing you the association through Lord Ganesh, because Lord Ganesh signifies, or he's the overlord of Ketu. Okay. Now here is another interpretation, which I'll quickly go through, is each of these planets are associated with the Dasha Avatar, the 10 incarnations of Vishnu. Okay. So you look at the sun, which is associated with Sri Ram. Krishna is associated with moon, Parashurama, Venus, Kurma, Saturn is Kurma Avatar, right? Why? Kurma Avatar is represented by the tortoise. And Saturn is the slowest moving planet. It takes about 30 years to go around the zodiac. Mm-hmm. It's very slow, right? But Kurma Avatar gives you the support. It is a support structure, because on its back, the Mandara mountain and the churning of the cosmic oceans happen. So Saturn in your life is the support structure. And that is why in Nadi Shastra, Saturn is called as Karma Karaka, which means he is the significators of your karmas. And he is supporting you in your life. But you always see, you have understood Saturn by saying it's a malefic. Mm-hmm. It is a malefic if you think it is a malefic, but if you think it is your support, it can organize you, it can bring you. Yeah. So Professor A.V. Sundaram always says, okay, when I learned from him, he says, Saturn gives you the first indication among all the planets that you are going in the wrong path. He gives you the first signal when you are doing wrong karmas. And how is that? He says the first signal or the first speed breaker is something related to your feet. Problems with your feet. Okay, because he is karma karaka, because it's a feed which takes you to the spot and you do your karmas there. Okay, because it is giving you the direction. You go and do a bad deed. A thief goes and he steals something. Who takes him there? It's the legs. Yeah. Isn't it? So the first speed breaker, he says, is the legs. Either when you meet with when you have a fall and you have hurt your leg, understand somewhere, okay, that Saturn is playing some role. So you have to just go and introspect and see, is there something that I'm doing wrong? Okay, because that is the first signal that Saturn gives you. Right? Now look at the sun god and Parashurama, which is Venus. Venus is called as Bhargava. Okay, in Indian. Bhargava means the lineage of Bhrigu Rishi. The lineage of Bhrigu Rishi is called as the Bhargavas. So Parashurama belongs to the lineage of the Bhargavas, and Sri Ram belongs to the dynasty, the solar dynasty, which is called as Surya Vamshi. He belongs to the Surya lineage. And Krishna belongs to the lunar lineage. So he's Chandra Vamshi. Okay, so these are the primordial energies behind these planets. The Dasha Avatar of Vishnu are the primordial energies which are feeding into them. Okay, so you look at Rahu, which is Varaha Avatar. What did Varaha Avatar do? It brought out Mother Earth from the oceans, from the clutches of the demon.
Mm-hmm. Well, Rahu itself is a demon.
Exactly. But it is Varaha is the controlling factor for Rahu. Okay. See, this is again another concept which I don't want to delve too much because we'll lose focus. There is some scientific study which has been done which says that our DNA matches 97% with the DNA of a boar or a pig.
Okay.
Do you understand that? So it is which is very surprising. You go and study more about the pigs, you will find out the skin of the pig in today's modern science can be used for grafting onto human skin, and they perfectly match.
Wow. I know they use a valve from a pig.
What from?
The valve, the heart valve.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Every body part of the pig can be. This is what modern science says. It's not me saying. And you can go and read up. You can Google up, and you can see. They say 97% of the DNA matches with that of the pig or the wild boar. So somewhere, some of the religions have understood this concept that we match the DNA very much with the pig, and so in some religions, eating of a pig is banned because it would probably, I do not know, I'm just interpreting it being that it could lead to cannibalism because you're eating somebody who's very similar to you, so it can lead to. So it could be, I don't know. I'm just. This is, as I said, it's my interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So these are very. You can go very deep into it, but the purpose of this is I wanted to show you. The next slide is, if you understand mythology, you will understand the planets. The way you are studying nakshatras or the way you're studying Jyotish, you will reform your way if you understand stories. So here you can see the image where Parashurama, and he's gone and he's infuriated Parashurama is with Sri Ram, and he's standing there because Sri Ram has broken the pinaka, the bow, which was given to Parashurama by Lord Shiva. Okay, in the Swayamvar is marriage of Sita.
Yeah.
Okay, where in the Swayamvar, Ram goes and he breaks the bow. So you see that whenever Parashurama comes in close proximity to Ram, Parashurama loses all his strength.
Mm-hmm.
He realizes that he's Supreme Lord himself. Ram is Supreme Lord himself. And what he does, he absorbs all his avatar. Because see, Parashurama is also a Vishnu avatar.
Yeah.
He absorbs his energies and he leaves him with only one trait. There is no ego, there is no arrogance, there is nothing left with him except repentance. That is the only trait he leaves in Parashurama, Sri Ram.
Mm-hmm.
So if you apply the same concepts in Jyotish, you will realize that whenever Venus comes in close proximity with the sun, it loses its strength. And in Indian astrology, whenever it is called as Maudhami or combust, Venus becomes combust whenever it comes in close proximity with the sun. And that is when you don't do any activities related to marriage, engagement. You don't want to start a new relationship with anybody, right? That is the time.
Yeah.
So you understand that from this mythology. So whenever Venus came very close to sun, it lost all its true self because the identity, sun is Atmakaraka, it's the identity, right? Now using this principle, what I wanted to say is, don't take it literally. Mythology is not always literal. You have to look at the deeper meaning. So one of the interpretations, what I saw is breaking of the bow was somehow altering the DNA. So Ram must have broken one element of the DNA, and he has created a very superior race, which is the Surya Vamshis, okay, which infuriated Parashurama. Okay, so there was some transformation which must have happened in the human race with Sri Ram's presence, and breaking of the bow was only metaphorical way of saying there was some tampering, or there was some transformation which must have happened with the DNA. And that is what you see, the association with the roots. The DNA and the tied roots, the reticulated roots, is the symbol of Mula Nakshatra. Okay, this is only an interpretation. So just to expand this even further, this is how I try to associate each of these. So whenever you look at Lord Ganesh, you appease Lord Ganesh, or you pray to Lord Ganesh, you are actually appeasing all the Dashavatars of Vishnu. Okay, you do not have to go to other gods. He is the supreme god, and that is why he's called as Vignaharta, or remover of obstacles. He does, because he has the blessings, and through the symbology, I'm trying to show you, he is the god you want to go to redeem yourself. The next very important concept that I want to say before we go there is the Mula Trikona concept, which is the root angle. The root angle is the power of the roots. Okay. Now, for that, I want to tell you that Jupiter, the Mula Trikona sign, or the Mula Trikona zone of Jupiter, is between 0 degrees to 10 degrees in Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, 0 degrees to 10 degrees is the Mula Trikona of Jupiter. That is the root of where the planet gets its inherent powers, or that is the root where it becomes most powerful. The most powerful is the exaltation sign, and the second most powerful region for the planet to be in is this Mula Trikona. After the exaltation point.
Yeah.
So here you see Jupiter is exalted, and Jupiter in Nadi is called as Jiva Karaka, which means it's the significator of life. Okay?
Yeah.
Now look at Aries. Aries is the Mula Trikona, which is from 0 degrees Aries to 12 degrees Aries is the Mula Trikona, which is the root power of Mars.
Yeah.
And 0 degrees to 20 degrees of Leo becomes the Mula Trikona, or the power of the root of the Sun. Okay, Mars is called as Deha Karaka, which means significator of body, and Sun is called as Atma Karaka, which means significator of the soul. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at this trine, this Mula Trikona, Jupiter, Mars, and Jupiter, Mars, and Sun. So Jupiter is Jiva Karaka, Mars is Deha Karaka, and Sun is Atma Karaka. Jupiter is the first house, Mars is the 5th house, and Sun is in the 9th house. So the concept that you have to understand with Mula Trikona means is 9th house is your father, 5th house is your children.
Yeah.
Right? So the most important concept, Kapil, is your ancestors, your father and your ancestors, which is seen from the 9th house, and your children. If you see, they are in the Dharma Trikona. Okay, fiery signs, and they are the Dharma. That is your Dharma. Okay, they are nothing but they are yourself. This is the most important concept of Mula Trikona or Trikonas, is 159. In Nadi, 159 means these houses are nothing but themselves. Okay, any planet sitting in 159, okay, from any house, any house, you take the 2nd house, okay, so 5th house from the 2nd house, 6th house, and the 9th house, which is 10th house, is the Trikona, the trine. The trine houses are this. It means that in Nadi, they are in the same house. Nadi says 159, whatever planets are sitting, they are sitting in the same house, which means understand this basic concept that your children are a part of yourself, your ancestors, your father are a part of yourself.
So, but what if, let's say, if you have Mercury sitting in the 9th house, okay, so what will you say about this Mercury, that it is yourself? I mean, what would be the practical astrological way of studying that Mercury?
Then you have to go to the degree of the Mercury. Okay.
Okay.
Now look at this. So suppose Mercury is sitting at 5 degrees in Sagittarius. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have say a sun sitting at 10 degrees in Leo. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you say another planet, Saturn, sitting at 20 degrees.
Yeah.
So what you have to look is in the trine, they are all as if they are sitting in the same house as per Nadi.
Okay.
Okay. But it is Mercury because it's sitting at 5 degrees. It is Sun next, which is sitting at 10 degrees, and then Saturn. So the combination will change based on the degree on which they are sitting. So then the concept comes, which is a faster moving planet, which is a slower moving planet.
Okay.
So which planet is going to catch up with the next planet? With Sun, and Mercury. So Mercury is faster than the Sun, so it will catch up with the Sun much faster.
Okay.
So based on that, your interpretation of the Jyotish will change. Okay. Again, it's a Nadi concept. It's a very different concept. I wanted to bring you to the root. The root is your Mula Trikona.
Mm-hmm.
Understand this, very, very important. So Jiva Karaka, Deha Karaka, Atma Karaka, it is nothing but it is yourself. Your children are an amsha, which means they are a part and parcel of yourself. Your ancestors, your father, they are a part and parcel of yourself. So in Hindu philosophy, when you say you are doing Shraddha, which means you are giving oblations to your ancestors, which means you are feeding them, which means you're feeding yourself. You're doing a favor to yourself. And when you're taking good care of your children, which means you're doing something good for the next generation. When you say next generation, our grandchildren, that is nothing.
It could be us in a way.
Yes, it is us.
So yeah.
Okay. This is a very subtle principle, but this is the most important essence of Jyotish.
Now let me ask you, are we always born into the same family lineage, or can we be born in a completely different family? Or
no, we could be born in a different family. That is, that is a different concept of, birth and life, taking birth. But what I say is, our Hindu philosophies always say that you are yourself in the lineage, and that is why the concept came that you in Hindu philosophy saying that you need to have a son. The son is why, because the son was only given the right to do your oblations. Okay. And it is believed that your lineage is going to go forward as per the Indian philosophy, is because he is going to give you oblations. Okay, the girl child today, we know that they can also give oblations. When I talked about this in the Maga video, where there is Sarva Pitra Amavasya. That is one day when all of them can give oblations to the ancestors.
So if you have only girls, does that mean that you will not be coming back?
No, I wouldn't. Okay, that is a different topic. Let us not go there. It doesn't mean that you might not. It might be my interpretation. Other scholars have a different view. I feel yes, you are moving closer. You are moving closer towards self-realization and moksha. Okay. So if you think a girl child, okay, that means it is giving you liberation slowly. Take good care of the girl child because she's Shakti. She's the root. Shakti is the root. And in Hinduism, we worship Shakti, which is the feminine goddess.
Right.
Because she is the root. Without Shakti, even Shiva didn't know his real self. That is why they call it Shiva Shakti. Look at the Shivling. Shivling is your the energy of your root. If you do not have Ishta Devata, you do not know anything about what it is. As you say in most of your videos, just offer milk to Shivling. Shivling is, you are the root. Shivling is the root. Because it's Shiva Shakti. It's Shiva Shakti. Remember. So you are, in a way, you are appeasing, you're giving oblations to your ancestors. You are giving respect to your future generations by respecting the Shivling. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. So Mula Trikona, look at this Mula Trikona, soul, spirit, body. Okay, Deha Karaka, Atma Karaka, Jiva Karaka. It is 3-part whole. You are a part of this whole Trikona concept. We are a spirit, we have a soul, and we live in a body. But we are whole part of this three-path concept, right? So now you understood the concept of Mula Trikona?
Yeah.
So that is the root where your the impulses for you to move forward and to understand the concepts more clearly, Mula Trikona. So if you look at the Mula Trikona, here I've given you a table. Don't look at what is there on the far left-hand corner. I could take another hour's class on that. I just want you to make a note of these numbers there, okay? Jupiter is 0 to 10 degrees, Mars is 0 to 12 degrees Aries, Sun is 0. And this is from Brahat Parashara Pura Shastra, Dasha Phala Adhyay, chapter number 48, verses between 35 to 54, gives you the Mula Trikonas and the exaltation points of all the nakshatra, of all the planets. Parashara Rishi has given this. So I'm not making this up. Now, to expand on the same theory, I have come up with this skeletal structure, which is called as the joints. These are the main joints. They are called as synovial joints because they have a fluid, which is the most movable part of all mammals. It's your neck region.
Yeah.
It's the shoulder region, and it's your arms. So these are the joints where you grow. Okay. Second is your hip region, right? Third is your knees, and the fourth the fourth is your ankles. So if you look at Jyotish and you represent this, the third house becomes your neck. These are areas where you keep growing or you keep moving the most. Your sixth bhava is your hip. Your 10th bhava is your karma bhava, and it is your knees. And your 11th bhava is your ankles. So often what people say, when you say, I want this person to stand on his own feet, which means I want him to be working, his karmas. That is because you're talking about your knees.
Yeah.
Only people who could stand on their feet means he is doing some karmas, he is working. So that is why 10th bhava is given to karma, which means your career, your profession, what do you do? Okay, so your knees have to be very strong for your career house to grow. So when I remember when it was one of the village astrologers that I met, and I think Sunil also gave me this secret. Sunil told me that whenever you're going through Sade Sati, okay, Sade Sati means the 7.5 years of Saturn. That is when Saturn is in your 12th house, it's on your moon, or it is in the second house from the moon. The 12th house from moon, on the moon. So those 2.5 years each, which add to 7.5 years. The best remedy is on every Saturday to apply till oil on your joints, especially the knees and all these parts. Sunny doesn't do anything. This is the best remedy. This is the most simplest remedy.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing.
Why? Because you're strengthening your 10th house, which is your karma karaka, which is again signified by Capricorn. In the natural zodiac, Capricorn is the 10th house. 11th house is again karma. Its 11th house is Aquarius, again ruled by Saturn. So when you apply till oil, okay, on the knees, you're strengthening your Saturn element in you on all these joints. So getting an oil massage, a full body oil massage, is fabulous if you do it on a Saturday. Simple, but very profound. Very profound. You don't have to go around. You don't go to.
What about just getting a full body massage? Is that, or it has to be like oil? Something massaging your joint.
Yeah, full body massage with oil is beautiful because oil is associated with Saturn.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything, when you see somebody who is an oil oligarch in Russia, you see his Saturn. Saturn has to be powerful. Or if he is connected with steel, iron, it has to be Saturn.
Because it's so funny because every Saturday, for some reason, my wife got me this package to go get massage on every Saturday, full body massage. And this uses the oil all over my body. And now I'm looking, you're telling me this, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yes. It's natural. You don't have to go. Don't go to any astrologer.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're going through sadisate, don't fear. Nothing is going to happen to you. Everybody has gone through sadisate. Everybody goes at least twice
I
in
went
life.
through it, yeah.
It's fear mongering. Don't do this. This is very simple. Saturday, Saturn's day. Go get a good oil massage. Feel rejuvenated. Feel good about it.
Hey, I'm up for that.
Okay, Saturn is never going to do anything to you because when you keep these Upachaya houses, these are your growth houses.
Yeah.
Okay, they are they're called third, sixth, and 10th houses are called your growth houses.
Mm-hmm.
So you apply oil and you see your life grow.
Yeah.
You see your life increase. Anyway, so do you understand? So I said Jupiter. Okay, look at Jupiter. I said it's Jiva Karaka, and I said Mula Trikona of Jupiter is in Sagittarius. Okay, I've given you the table. You can see it's 0 to 10 degrees. Now, look at this beauty of this system. If I take Jupiter as the Jiva Karaka, which is the base, which is the root, okay, for everything, because Jupiter is very, very key. It's the largest planet. Okay, and you see it is a very big benefic. The third house from Jupiter's Mula Trikona becomes the Mula Trikona of Saturn, which is 0 degrees to 20 degrees of Aquarius.
Yeah.
The sixth house becomes from the Mula Trikona of Jupiter becomes the Mula Trikona of Moon, which is 4 degrees to 30 degrees of Taurus. And that is why you see that everybody takes Moon to be very, very important, because remember what I said, sixth house is your prarabdha, right? And Moon in the sixth house from your root, which is your Mula Trikona of Jupiter, which is Jiva Karaka, becomes the Mula Trikona of Moon, which is your karmic imprints. They are called as your vasanas. So Moon is the reservoir of your imprints, karmic imprints. And it is the greatest holder of memory. When I say greatest holder of memory, water has a life. Water can change forms into different things. You can speak to water. The molecules of water, you can, scientists in the West, in Japan, in Sweden, in America, all say that water has life. Because when you speak positively to water, water's molecules form a different format, which is very soothing to look at. But same, if you show anger to water, the molecules change and they become very brittle.
So if you look at the water and say, Om, and then...
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yes. You say Om because Omkar. Okay. So it gives a different beautiful formation because you are 70% water.
Yeah.
So when you take fluids, if you're imagine you go to somebody's house and somebody doesn't like you, do not take water in that house because they're always coming with anger or they're coming with, jealousy. If you know the person doesn't like you, never accept water. Okay. So whenever you take water, if you can say Om or you say any God's name and smile at it, water is definitely going to be much more sweeter.
Yeah.
It's going to be healing. Okay. And this concept, I'm going to say, is going to be a revolution in future. This is my prediction. And take it from me. Today, we are using silicon in all. What is our computers? All is silicon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Silicon chip. What is silica? Silica is sand, which is earth. And we store a lot of memory on silica now today. It's binary, isn't it? All the language which our computers understand is zeros and ones. And what is holding your memory? Your memory is on silicon, which is sand, which is earth. I say tomorrow you will find your memory being stored on water. This is my prediction. Because there is no greater force which can hold. It can hold the memory of, ever since this planet has come into being and ever since water was there on this planet, the memory is there in water. So water can, give you that soothing. You go have a shower, you feel so refreshed.
Yeah.
Take a nice glass of water. There is no substitute for water. You can have aerated drinks. You can have Coke. You can have coffee. You can have tea.
No.
The most beautiful liquid is still water. You love water. Okay? So moon. So you see, moon is very important. Whenever you say Rashi, what is your Rashi? You always talk about moon, because
Yeah.
moon is the seat of your destiny. It holds the reservoir of your memories, of your karmic patterns, and that is why moon, you say, is associated with water. Isn't it? Moon is, you say liquid, you say milk. Milk is moon. That is the
So
karma.
what you're saying that in the future, instead of silicon, they will be using something with water to use memory.
Something fluid. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And that discovery should happen very soon, with now Jupiter moving, into Virgo, which is again the natural sixth house.
Yeah.
Jupiter comes into Virgo every 12 years. That is okay. But I'm saying in future, which is, when I say future, maybe 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, whatever. But this is the future. And remember, water I called as blue gold. It is going to be the most precious thing. Even you would trade your gold with water in future for pure, clear drinking water. The next war.
That's pretty scary there, right there.
Yeah. That's why I say, reserve water, respect water, because the next war will not be fought for oil. When we have exhausted ourselves with oil, the next war will be fought for water, which is drinkable water, not your ocean, the water in the ocean, because those are salty.
Yeah.
Right. So lands which have reservoirs or lakes and rivers, fresh water, these will become great countries to be in, because that is what is rejuvenating. That is the life force.
So we're gonna go ahead and give freedom to those people.
Anyway, that is
freedom to those people who have water.
See, I know about when I was reading this about 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
There is a Canadian billionaire who has been investing in water. He says water is going to be the next oil. Okay.
No, I watched this movie called The Big Short. I don't know if you've seen it on Morgan Nelson in US. And one of the people that they portrayed in the movie that played by Brad Pitt, the original guy that Brad Pitt played as the guy who first saw the meltdown in 2008, he's already starting to now invest in water reserves. He's looking into water as the big thing, investment.
Yes. I think it would, but it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be over the next 5 years, but we'll get there. Definitely, if you look by 2020, 2022, I think water would be, in India, whenever there's drought this time, people have to go and buy water. Okay, you have tankers coming in feeding you fresh water, and they make a lot of money out of it, right? These mafia, the water mafia.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, moon and water.
There's no audio. I can't hear you anymore.
Stable.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so the 10th house from your Mula Trikona of Jupiter becomes the Mula Trikona of Mercury, which is 15 degrees to 20 degrees. And the 11th house becomes the Mula Trikona of Venus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? These are the houses, or your Upachaya houses. Anyway, that concepts I think I've told you.
Yeah.
Now, Kapil, what do you want to do? Do you want to continue with the session, or because I might take another hour? I think we could do a second session maybe tomorrow, and we can break it.
Okay, then why don't we do that then? Let's. What time do you want to do it tomorrow?
Same time.
Same time, 9 p.m.
Yes.
Okay, so I will upload the first part tonight.
Yeah.
And the second part tomorrow. So see you 9 p.m.
Part.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you.
See you.